You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
I look good. I got big energy every day. Let's go!
And he is dicked.
Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
That's right.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin Herbert.
On the move and throws and touchdown.
Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
welcome back, everybody, to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wooldog, sitting with my buddies, Kev, Hug, and Duggan.
Hey, guys. Hey, Kyle. What kind of boy are you?
Jack boys!
Jack boys!
Oh.
We're both wearing the same shirt today.
Couple
and,
Jack boys, folks.
Meant to be.
I mean, besides Mike Davis, I think you two might be the last two Jack boys of this, this squad.
This is a vintage shirt.
Yeah, it is. Frame it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome back, folks, to the Charger Chat. Lots to talk about this week. We're finally seeing some boys hit the field. Some veterans now are coming out to play with the rookies, and there's some talk around Twitter, some news, some rumblings. But first and foremost, we needed to take a look over to the high school St. Michael Catholic.
Because as this is like you say that as if we check in every week.
We need to check in with our boys.
From now on, we're going to check in on St. Michael's.
Absolutely.
I think we're gonna update scores on a weekly basis.
Big time. We have to because none other than Coach Philip Rivers is coaching the St. Michael Catholic high school team. Do they have a mascot? Are they the St. Michael Catholic
I'm gonna go out there and
Holy
say the
Rollers?
Saints.
Like, what are they?
The Holy Rollers, that'd be the move for sure.
The Dadgummits.
The Dadgummits.
The Dadgummits.
The Nunk Copies, because he's wearing a Nunk Copie shirt.
Always.
I gotta wear it.
Gotta wear it. There was some news. I think it was NBC that went out there to go check on Phil and see what was going on with that football team. And boy, I mean, you would imagine that he would be like a fish to water to that coaching position, but just seeing him in the full getup with the headset and everything, it's like he's perfect.
He was
scary.
intense. He was intense too. Like he's like NFL energy at a high school field. That's pretty awesome.
Do you think there's going to be some adjustment? Are there going to be some upset parents to be like, "Hey, Phil, chill out, all right? It's high school."
Might be some crying sophomores on the team somewhere.
No. Because all parents care about is language. If they don't hear cussing,
that's true.
Then they're cool. They don't. They don't mind you getting into their kids. So he's fine. He's not going to get in any trouble. He'll be good to go.
You get your dadgum butt out there and smash his mother-loving face into some horse mess.
He's clear. That's all good. That'll fly.
You're clear. You could be a coach right now, Adam. You'd be good. You'd be solid.
We got to keep an eye on St. Michael Catholic. Make sure Phil's doing okay over there. But so far, looks to be doing just fine. Looking around Twitter at some of the news, this just popped up today. Melvin Ingram, we've all been questioning about what's going on with him. Is he going to stay with the team? Is he going to go somewhere else? We haven't quite heard yet, but we just found out today that he is at least visiting the Dolphins. So this is team number 2. He went to visit with Kansas City, walked away empty-handed. Now he's visiting with the Dolphins. Possible landing spot.
Maybe he just went down there to bitch slap Tua around a little bit. You know, we know he went to Kansas City to get some playbooks and do some scouting. He probably just went in there and slapped Tua around a little bit. Like
he's got off the plane, smacked him in his face, and left.
Got off the plane, was quiet, just walked up to him just randomly, like in the lobby of a hotel or something.
Hey, Tua!
No, didn't even say hey Tua, just bam, just
he pulls out a leather glove and just smacks him across his face.
Challenge.
Leather glove.
I challenge you to a duel.
So it would
that would suck.
That would. I mean, is there
anyone
a team that he could go to that
better
wouldn't
than the
suck?
Chiefs? It's better than the Chiefs.
It's better than anyone in the division would be really, really sucky.
I think the longer we go, I think it gets less and less likely that he's going to be a Charger. Like the longer it goes is kind of what I'm feeling, because he's making more visits and more visits. So
but the longer it goes, the less demand there is for him, clearly, and the cheaper he'll be, and the more likely he'd be to take a 1-year deal.
It makes me wonder if the Chargers have really offered much now.
if anything.
I'm curious what that even.
I don't know.
You
could take it any way you want. You could say they offered him, and now he's just still testing the waters to see what they'll do, what other teams will do, and he knows that he has this to fall back on. That's why he's not jumping at the first thing that comes. So I don't know. We don't know. It sucks that he's visiting teams, but I'm still holding on to hope that he'll end up with the Chargers.
That would be cool.
There is still money to be spent. Hopefully, it can go to
potentially.
Ingram. Potentially,
well, some of these
could go
other
to Ingram.
rumblings in the league.
There's some more rumblings that we'll talk about that I'm sure you're all aware of, but we'll get to it here in a moment.
The cap face could be gone really fast.
Real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So, as mentioned, folks, we're seeing some veterans now hit the field with some of the rookies. OTAs officially kicked off today.
What?
Oh, man. It was just so great seeing the boys walking into practice, walking out. Derwin James had a super small number 33. I don't know why they gave him the toddler size.
He said he was wearing a small, and Keenan made fun of him.
Small.
It was amazing.
That thing was tiny, man.
How awesome was that video that the social media team put out? Like, it was like Jack,
so
like
good.
they were all there. Like, you had a lot of the veterans there. Like, it looked like people were showing up. Everyone was saying that not many people were going to be there. It looked like our guys were there. The ones we needed were there.
Right.
So that was awesome to see.
Big time.
It's so good.
It was good to see all the players out there. And I mean, they ended it perfectly, as Kyle mentioned when he shared it with us. That hug of Staley hugging Drew Tranquil was just
so
like
cool. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. What did you message us?
I was like, I don't think Lynn hugged anybody other than his wife. So I think to have the very first OTA start with a hug from the coach.
It shows that he clearly already has a relationship with the guy. You know,
Absolutely.
he's already put in the time this offseason and the couple months that he's had the gig to and he actually talked about it in his press conference after this first practice, the leadership council that they have in making decisions on how they're going to structure practice. Even they're going to this leadership council of players. And I'm sure Drew is on that leadership council. So he already has a relationship with these guys to the point where he can do those kinds of things on field, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
It's definitely not a dictatorship, it seems like. It seems like everyone's enjoying it and everyone's coming together. And if you saw some of the pictures they posted, everyone's smiling. Everyone's having a good time. So that's a little different than what we've seen in the past.
Absolutely. Yeah. And which is also going to be one of those interesting things. A lot of the guys that were captains last year aren't on the team anymore, unfortunately. So now this is that opportunity to get some new captains on the team.
I know. Did Jay Burt gets his C patch on his jersey this year?
Yeah, I think so. The way people talk about him, I think the way people talk about him and the kind of respect he's already getting, I think that's a kind of you can't put it in the bank, but I think it's very possible.
He's been very strategic with who he invites to go golfing. He throws in a Keenan Allen every once in a while.
Smart.
Yeah. He's pushing for that C patch, I think.
Yeah, he's making the right moves.
He's campaigning. He's taking guys golfing. He's getting good seats at Angels games.
His
and
brisket, his victory brisket. I'm sure
victory
it's going
brisket
around the
for everybody.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's awesome. So day one of OTAs just kicked off today. So keep an eye on Chargers social media because you'll see some pretty sweet photos and some awesome video because we expect no less from our Chargers social media. Looking around Twitter in regards to OTAs, Dan Popper said Derwin James has been cleared for full participation. According to Brandon Staley, James was on the field for OTAs today. We all saw it. He was there. I can confirm.
It was just nice to see him moving around the way he did. Like last time we saw him moving around like this was Hard Knocks last year. And he's back and he's looking good. And they interviewed him afterwards and he said that he's been feeling good like this for a while. So the fact that he's out on the field, it's not like a big surprise to him. Like he's been ready to go forever. So I'm pumped. It's just nice to see him out on the field. I miss him. I can't wait to see him play.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to change in his mindset, having been hurt two of his, like he's had one solid year, his rookie year, and then he had a half year that he played really well. So it's like, I wonder what he's going to change, if that affects the way that he approaches practice. I don't know if it will, but I'm kind of hoping that this like tenure in the league, becoming more of a vet, keeping himself a little bit more healthy at practice is priority number one for him.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, everything getting him back to his status right now, he seemed to be really taking that rehabilitation fierce. I mean, we all saw those rehab videos of him jumping around on one leg, what was it, like the balance ball or something like that? Like,
yeah.
He went pretty hard in that regard. And so now I don't think he'll quite, I mean, they're not at full force anyways. They're not in full pads or helmets or anything like that.
Right, they're not in pads.
So yeah, I would hope that he would at least take it moderately easy and he's got to know what his limitations are now, right?
Yeah, and they're wearing t-shirts and shorts and running shoes. They're not really going hard at each other.
I'm just saying, moving forward,
for
right?
sure.
He's been hurt he's significant time on the injured list.
Right.
He's coming into. I know we gave him his 5th year option already, but he's coming into a big year on a team that should be posed to do a lot in the postseason. It'll just be interesting to see how he does it, because he's like that energy in practice. He has a big hit or a pick in practice or whatever it might be that brings energy. And that's his natural leadership character traits. That's what he does. He leads by example on how hard he plays. So it'll be interesting to see if he dials that back a little bit, or he just says, to hell with it. Let's go. We'll take our chances.
Yeah. Anybody that watched Hard Knocks last year knows that Derwin James, he likes to tackle people. So
yeah, he's hard, likes to knock.
Yeah, hopefully he takes it just a little bit easier. But speaking of Derwin James, he kept an eye on Asante Samuel Jr. and said he is already a dog. Once you're a dog, you're always a dog. So,
yeah, you could tell him. You tell him, Wooly.
Yeah. I don't know what
dog was born a dog.
Yeah. We see each other. We know what's going on out there. So.
But it's kind of what you said last week, Kyle. It's like he's just ready. Like, just cut him loose. Learn the playbook, cut him loose. He's a dog. I love it.
Yeah, good to see that other teammates are acknowledging that. And other teammates out there, Keenan Allen says about the new offense, kind of the same. We have had just different terminology. I think it will be better. We will play more free.
I don't really get that quote.
Yeah, that last one.
It's the same, but it's going to be better.
It's so vague.
What does it mean?
And we'll play more free. Like, what do you think they could install or do different that's the same that would allow them to be more free?
Is it basically, I mean, for me, as a non-football player, it's like, okay, we've got basically the same playbook. We're running the same plays, but there's not like you need to strictly stay maybe to certain routes, or I don't know. I don't
know. Like, and a lot of that's probably because Justin Herbert's a second-year quarterback now. So that was going to naturally shift and evolve anyways. But yeah, I don't get it. It's kind of the same thing, different terminology, but it's gonna be better. Though I don't know. Yeah, I think this was like a kind of spitballing on the fly. Maybe he doesn't know exactly what the offense is gonna be yet, so he's kind of just trying to answer the question as politically correct as he can. But I don't really get it. I don't know.
That's okay.
Freedom, William Wallace style.
Or does it mean Free Willy? Is there somebody going to be like doing a big leap over? I don't know. We're grasping at straws, Keenan. Give us more to work with.
Come on,
Keenan. Step it up.
Just give us what we want. And then looking at what's been going on this offseason, apparently Justin Herbert and Drew Brees have been conversing with each other, maybe a little texty buddies, maybe a little emoticons back and forth with each other, talking about the new offense that Chargers offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi will be instilling next season. This comes from James Palmer TV. And as everybody knows, Joe Lombardi was Drew Brees' QB coach at the Saints for 9 years.
Be quite the person to have on speed dial if you want to talk through this offense a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
no
having
kidding.
that as an option is pretty crazy option. And if he's willing and wants to give him advice and they have a relationship, that's only good news for us.
Everything that's been going on this offseason has led us to believe that they are building around Justin Herbert. So I guess maybe the idea being that for Justin Herbert to get better, let's talk and converse with some of the other great QBs of all time, like Drew Brees, who's certainly going to be in the Hall of Fame without a doubt. So
when he earned a lot of those guys' respect last year when he went head to head with them. He played some of the greats last year. So having that, they're like, okay, maybe we can step up and little communication back and forth. So that's a great thing.
Absolutely.
It's also cool that even I don't know what Drew Brees' relationship is with the Chargers organization, if there even is one. But I mean, we kind of were like, yeah, you're hurt. See you later, dude. Good luck. And to some extent. So it's cool that he still has that's not holding him back at all from helping out a young quarterback. Drew Brees is just a class act. So it's cool to see that And if Justin is going out of his way to reach out to do these things, obviously speaks a lot to his level of commitment to being great.
Shows initiative, as one might say. So it's just awesome. Just good to see him reaching out to him.
Also, wait, hang on. Before we move on, how does Drew Brees know the offense? If this is his first time, if he's new OC, is Lombardi behind the scenes? Hey, Drew, learn this offense in case something happens to Justin. We can bring you in halfway through the season.
Oh, you stop it, you.
Maybe it's more just. I think it's more about the terminology.
Okay, I never want to try to say that Justin Herbert's going to get hurt.
Where you're going with this.
What if something happened? Drew Brees comes back and wins the Super Bowl. We all thought he would have won if we kept him.
No, I'm putting my foot down. No,
it's a storyline. Phil Mickelson won the PGA Championship at 50.
World.
Come on, anything can happen.
Oh my God.
Who knew Coach was such a writer?
That's quite the story.
That would be quite the story.
We could also bring back AJ Smith, and he can GM for the time when he's back, and maybe it'll bring them all back together.
No, we'll bring back Sean Merriman. He'll
bring them all
get 4
back.
sacks in the Super Bowl.
Mine's a real possibility. You guys are just fantasy. You're living in fantasy land.
La La Land, boys.
It's an interesting story to say the least. You get an A in your creative writing class.
Thank you,
Coach.
Yeah. Community college.
And as we were talking about earlier, in regards to Herbert, taking care of his fellow teammates. Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen says he golfed a lot with quarterback Justin Herbert during the offseason.
There you go.
Like Kyle said,
putting in work for that captain patch, man. Putting in work.
Gotta get that.
Probably covered it. He probably covered his green fees too.
Wouldn't surprise me if Justin Herbert learns how to play an instrument in the offseason so he can play with Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen on piano, Justin Herbert on drums.
He's like, oh, Keenan, I forgot you play piano. Yeah, I play the cello.
I got a band name.
Oh, bring it.
Herbs and Spices. And then you got 4 backup guys. So let's fill in the band. Herb is lead singer. We got Keenan Allen tickling the ivory. Who do you got for drums?
That's got to be like a Lindsley.
Right down the middle. Keep it straight. Keep it down the middle. Bass. Who's going to slap at a bass?
Slap at a bass. Mike Williams.
Mike Williams slap at a bass. And then you got to do Eckler on guitar. You got to do Eckler
absolutely.
on guitar.
So
Urban the Spices.
Who's on the triangle? Who's on the Will Ferrell triangle?
Cowbell.
Who's on the recorder?
Badgley. The Money Badger.
Cowbell. Just like Easton Stick back there, just doing some backup work.
Badgley's on piccolo. Badgley's on piccolo.
So Urban Spices coming to you 2021.
Coming. Dropping pretty soon here, folks. Keep an eye out for it. And then Brandon Staley said on safety Derwin James being on the field, he looks great. He sounds great. I'm glad he sounds great. He is fully cleared. When he is out there, our chances increase by a whole lot.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. That's what his defense revolves around, is a guy like that.
Star.
Yeah, so that we get
star money.
We learned it last week. Star. You're gonna be a star, kid.
You're gonna be a
way
star.
Better with
you're gonna be
James
big
on the field for sure.
100%.
Apparently, Justin Herbert isn't the only one reaching out to other players on other teams. Derwin James said Jalen Ramsey had a lot of positive things to say about the Chargers coach Brandon Staley. James noted that Ramsey isn't easy to impress. That's hard coming from Jalen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He broke through the Jalen Ramsey skin and got to the sweet oozy center of his core.
Not oozy.
Yeah.
You can go see a doctor if it's oozy.
Gooey.
We'll keep it gooey out there.
Ew. It's infected.
Ew, don't want
He is
that.
a ram. That's probably why.
Ew. But I mean, that's been Staley's MO from just about every team that he's been had any defensive influence on.
Right.
It's just like he is the wunderkind, as we've mentioned in the past. So obviously just good to hear it. And as far as James talking to Ramsey. And then lastly, Daniel Popper, Brandon Staley says he wants to be a data-driven team.
Say what? Wow. 180
Finally.
from last year.
Yeah.
180.
Just a something-driven team is a big improvement.
Sure. Yeah.
Just driven.
That.
Really.
Just
driven.
Not like taking a shot-driven team or guessing-driven team.
Gut-driven team.
Hypothetical-driven team.
Force the run-driven team.
Fill in the blank-driven team.
It's absolutely good to see that. Though I couldn't help but hear it in the back of my mind because I hear Coach Duggan, not you, Coach, your Papa Coach Duggan, in the back of my mind with that phrase. What was it? Paralysis by analysis. Like it rings in the back of my head now. Can you refresh my memory on what he was referring to when he was saying that? Like you just get so caught up in the numbers or the analysis that you forget what you're doing out there.
I guess you could take that into coaching as well. It's mostly in terms of a player. Like if you have too intricate of a defense and they have too many responsibilities, they think too much, so they don't just go and play and be the athletes that they obviously are. So you're analyzing so much that you get paralysis, you freeze up. Mm-hmm. I've never really heard of that from a coaching standpoint, but it's for sure is possible. A lot of play calling, a lot of decision making, you get into the flow of a game, and you start to just have a feel for what to call. And I think that having a balance between being data driven, and I think especially in like very specific circumstances, right? Like when to go for 2 onside kicks, when to call timeouts, going it for it on 4th down, all those types of things. That data driven, it's not a long time. You could have someone in the box saying, no, the numbers say do this. And then you could make the decision really quick. But yeah, I guess if you go too far into that, that Pandora's box, you could get lost.
Well, I certainly doubt that that's going to be the case with Staley and this team and organization, but I couldn't help but hear it in the back of my mind. It's something about Papa Coach. It's just those words, they ring in my ear. And okay, now finally we got to talk about some rumors. This is a big rumor. big rumor. Now there's nothing that solidifies any of this happening, but the numbers certainly make it seem like a very good possibility. For those that don't know, Julio Jones, Pro Bowl wide receiver from Atlanta, has demanded a trade, and Atlanta has at least been entertaining some of the thoughts, some of the ideas as far as what they would.
And they're screwed on cap space too. I don't know if as much of a demand as like they don't have enough money to pay him. Right. Like they can't even sign all of their draft picks right now because they don't have enough money in the cap space.
Exactly.
So he's a problem. And I think now Julio has said that he's ready to move on.
Right. Yeah. Julio wants to go. I think there was, what's the show with Shannon Sharp where he freaking called him
Undisputed.
up. Undisputed.
Yeah.
Where he called him up and he was just like, yeah, I'm out. I'm
not going to Dallas.
Poor Julio.
And he didn't want to go to Dallas.
He was on. He didn't tell him he was on live TV.
That was lame. He's weak. Like, I'm your uncle.
Yeah.
Like he was just playing it like family. And then he's just like, we're going to tell the world that you hate Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. So Dallas doesn't seem to be like the possibility, but there are a few teams out there that do have some cap space money. And Chargers seem to be near the top of that list. Per Jeremy Fowler right now, Chargers have $21.4 million in cap space, followed by the Colts at 19.6, 49ers at 17.5, and Patriots at 16.4. And right now, Julio is demanding $15.3 million guaranteed salary. So if the money doesn't go to Ingram, oh boy, if the money could go to Julio Jones, that would be.
But then you got a loaded wide receiver room. Like it makes sense if you're going to do this, you do a little Mike Williams, Julio swap, and then you're still sitting there with $20 million in cap space. Like
right.
that.
But we wouldn't be able to. So we're gonna talk about this a lot because a lot of our questions about this too. But they wouldn't want Mike Williams in a trade because they're trying to offload.
Exactly.
Cap space.
Yeah, they can't trade Mike Williams.
That wouldn't light it up at all.
No. Yeah. So we would hang on to Mike in any.
They're gonna look for draft stock. That's the only thing that we'd be able to offer.
Yeah. So initially, when trade talks were happening, Atlanta was talking about wanting a first round. Now that things have started to kind of even out. Might be taking not a first round, might be taking a second and
something else probably.
Yeah, maybe a Coke and a smile.
It's a crazy idea that Julio Jones was ever not going to be a Falcon. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And the fact that there's even a conversation happening right now where he could, in some crazy world, come to us is just I'm flabbergasted. It like takes us just another if this were to happen, it would take us one more notch above what everyone's already expecting from us, which is a lot. This puts us really in like battling with the Chiefs.
Because
like,
when was the last time that we drafted a first round? Mike Williams, you drafted in the first round. And I'm not saying that I don't like Mike Williams at all. But when's the last time we drafted an all-pro, Pro Bowler, Hall of like
freak athlete
receiver in the first round? Like we just don't. That's not what we do.
Right.
Keenan Allen is an absolute stud, but we didn't spend first round money on the guy.
Yeah.
So it's like this is that big, huge name that the Chargers still haven't really brought in yet.
Mm-hmm.
We got lucky in drafting Justin Herbert and him becoming that guy. But we've not done that. Oh, let's go to LA. So we're in a big market. We have more money. We can splash the pot.
Right.
Haven't done that at all. So
no, this is an opportunity.
This could be that.
It's heating up, for lack of a better word. And other people are certainly taking notice. Elliot Christ
this is awesome.
said Julio to the Chargers needs to happen. Justin Herbert, Julio Jones, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, and not Anthony Lynn. It would be unstoppable.
That's a low blow. Poor Anthony.
Taking shots at the
It's unfortunate because every time
the low hanging newts.
The low hanging newts, Elliot reached for him, manscaped or not,
swinging at some newts.
So yeah, it would be pretty crazy to land Julio, but I think that would, and I guess we would just drop possibly both KJ and Joe Reed. And and still have a pretty stacked wide receiver core.
I don't know what it's going to look like. We obviously are still drafting wide receivers with the room we got. So
right.
I don't see like a big purge of wide receivers. KJ would be definitely screwed.
Right.
Yeah.
But other than that, like that's the one. I don't really see a big, huge purge of all the other guys. Maybe one other one goes practice squad. But maybe that becomes our offense. You have Julio Jones, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. Like,
oh my God.
You're just going to throw the ball a lot.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert's capable of that. We've all seen it.
Yeah.
We all know he can do it. So
10 to 11, 10 to 13, 10 to 81 all day long.
I like the idea. So it would be pretty sweet to see. All right. Well, now, folks, it's time to look on over to Coach's Corner.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
All comes down to today.
You take this helmet and you put it right in his numbers, okay? I want to see nothing but snot bubbles in his nose.
A lot of people want to blame coaches for a lot of things.
Nobody puts coaches
trade up,
and we shut them down because we can.
It's because I believed in you.
And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style.
Let's do it.
All right, folks. So we reached into the bag of questions for Coach's Corner. We pulled out one from Tweet Me Up Scotty. Congratulations. Your
Scotty
question
Rajkowski
is going to the coach, probably because you said this is for the coach and nobody else really had anything.
It's no joke. If you say
an easy way to get in. Yeah.
If you say this is for coach, you're probably going to get on Coach's Corner.
Yeah.
So you've got a question and a request, and it goes a little something like this. Well, thank you very much. This is for the coach. The AFC North seems like a juggernaut this year, with 3-4 teams having gone to the playoffs last year, and the Bengals getting Burrow back. I think these string of games are going to test how our team will stack up this year and how the new scheme will hold. What kind of schemes do these AFC North teams run? And what do you predict is the path to victory against these schemes? Oh, thank you very much.
That was good, dude. You got a decent Elvis. Put that in your bag.
Good. Yeah, it was, all right. So he's asking a pretty big question for you to look at an entirely different vision within the NFL and tell us what those schemes are. So did you get a chance to look at the AFC North and see what's going on up there?
Yeah, I didn't. My soon-to-be brother-in-law, Brad, he's a big Ravens fan. So I'll watch some games with him and keep up on it. Obviously, it's one of the most, I think it's one of the most like established schemes, and they all kind of do the same thing. So it's not as if you have a Packers and a Vikings, like these different kind of styles, or it's all, we're going to run the ball, control the clock, and play good defense. So the scheme, I guess, like, I could have gone through and looked up the exact types of schemes. I kind of just went broad since we were looking at 4 teams here in my my little coach's corner. It is a big, anytime you play a whole division, it's a big part of your schedule. So the AFC North, and we play the NFC East, but the AFC North is, like he said, 3 playoff teams. We play the Browns week 5 at home, the Ravens week 6 away, and then the Steelers week 11 at home, and the Bengals week 13 away. Just a couple of things from each team. The Browns obviously lean on Nick Chubb to run the ball, and then they're big on play action, throw the ball down the field. They've been consistent in their coaching staff this year, so we know what we're going to get out of them. They are a very well-coached team. In the draft, they doubled down on defensive players. They picked up Greg Newsome, the cornerback, who we kind of thought might project to us in the second. And then Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah, the linebacker or Notre Dame. Everyone thought he was
so much confidence in that.
Yeah, there's none.
But it was a valiant effort.
He's a pass rusher that we all thought might come to the Chargers. And I just always cut it at Jeremiah Owusu and then didn't attempt his hyphenated.
I'm going to call you J.O.
Yeah. But so that being said, they're very confident in their offense, and that's their scheme. We're going to run the ball. And now they've doubled down to try to strengthen this defense, which it was vulnerable at times to some big plays. I think the Chiefs had 500 or something yards against them in the playoffs. So that is a very well coached team, and they're going to be solid. But again, run the clock out, run the ball a lot, something that Coach Lynn wanted to do, but they had a much better, they did a much better job of doing it. Ravens, we know what the Ravens are.
Yeah.
That's a little Lamar Jackson show. They're going to run the ball a bunch. It's all a bunch of movement. Not something you see anywhere else in the NFL with the way that they run with their quarterback. Running speed options and the read option that they can do. The RPOs are crazy. So that's a very unique week. We've had success against it. Running a very, what I would say elementary. I don't know if it's simple defense, but having guys that know their roles and having a Derwin James in there. That one guy can be a huge game changer against the Ravens. Because you can put him in there and he can play all those spots, that kind of star position. The Steelers, obviously, they went and drafted Najee Harris. They're trying to go back to their roots of being a ground and pound, run the ball type. AFC North, that's what it is, man. It's like in San Diego, North County football. We're going to run the ball a whole lot. It's going to, even now in high school football where teams throw the ball 400 times a game, North County, San Diego, they're still lining up in wing T and power I and running the ball. And that's kind of what the AFC North is. They're just going to run the ball. Even the Bengals, we know Joe Burrow, he gets a lot of talk. He only had 3 games with over 300 yards passing, and they went 1-2 in those games. So it's not all about passing yards with the AFC North. They need to establish the run to be successful. The 4 games that the Bengals won last year, they had around 150 yards rushing in each of those games. So these teams need to control the clock. They need to get in a rhythm, and they need to keep the other offense off the field. And that's what we as Charger fans, that's what we were too. They also had no change in coaching staff. But all of these teams are run the ball, control the clock, and beat up the other team. Basically play aggressive defense. You always win those games with field position. Because if a team that has to run the ball a lot has to drive the ball 80 yards every drive, it's just really hard. It's hard not to have a penalty. It's hard not to give up a turnover. So it's all about field position, and that comes from special teams, being able to pin them deep, and also the defense, our defense, creating turnovers and flipping the field right away. So that's what we know was been sort of the shortcoming of the Chargers for a long time, and beating these teams that simplify the game and want to control the clock and run the ball to beat better teams. You have to own field position, and that's what you look at the Patriots. That's what they always do. They always own field position, and that's what forces these teams to be singular focused. The other thing I think is score quick and early. If we can score quick, we can take chances in the first quarter, get up a couple touchdowns. It's really hard for these types of teams, these AFC North ground and pound teams, to stay in it. the coaches get antsy, start making play calls that they're not necessarily comfortable with because they're trying to get back into the game. So win field position and score quick and early is a good recipe to beat the AFC North this year, I think.
Excellent.
I like it.
From the accounts of what we've heard about Staley and our offense and defense and special teams, do you think that we have that recipe for success to take some of these guys?
We definitely have the recipe of scoring quick and early. We know what Justin can do. He has said that he wants to come in and build the offense around what Justin does well, and that's what he does. He throws a great deep ball. So the opportunity to take chances, especially if he has a Julio Jones and Mike Williams to throw
or even
to.
just the guys we currently have.
Yeah,
with
no, absolutely.
Like, it's still without let's pull Julio out of this conversation for a minute.
Just in case. Just in case.
Kevin hates every hypothetical we ever bring up on this podcast.
But let's talk about the guys we currently have. I don't want to talk about Julio yet because it's not even close to real.
Adam Schefter over here.
How dare you?
Guy, it's not official. It's not on the clock yet, so we can't talk about it. But yeah, I think we do have that. We'll see with special teams.
Right.
We'll see. I mean, we don't really know yet.
Yeah.
But it hopefully can't get worse.
Can't get worse, as
there
we
you
say.
Go. Cannot get worse. So, all right. Well, there you go. Tweet me up, Scotty. Got your question answered in a great coach's corner. Taking a look at an entire division for you. I think you should feel pretty special. Coach doesn't always do that for everybody.
Pat on the back, Coach.
Yeah. All right. Well, now it's time to look on over to Bolt Insight. Here we go.
All right, guys, we're here with another Bolt Insight, and this week we have Jake, the co-host of Chargers Unleashed. What is going on, my man?
What is happening, Kevin? How are you, sir?
Good, man. Good. I'm doing good, and it's good to see you and talk to you again. Last time we talked to you, you had a different podcast, and a couple months later, we are now Unleashed. So unleash what the change was for us.
Yeah, my co-host Dan Wolkenstein and I, it was kind of like that turning point that you have in certain points, whether it's a podcast or ventures or whatever it is, your own little adventures that certain things happen in life. And, we had an opportunity to, at first we thought we were going to go create something on our own. And then thankfully, just because of a factor of good timing, Ryan Darude from the LA Football Network reached out to us. And the partnership with them thus far has been great. Chargers Unleashed has been off and rolling for about the past month and a half. And it's been nothing short of fantastic. I mean, the timing couldn't have been better with the draft. We were very skittish. It was like, okay, we're doing this whole transition during this whole time frame. Let's get it rolling. And, pre-draft and now post-draft, and obviously getting everything into the OTAs, what I call the purgatory of the season before we really get into meat potatoes of training camp. It's been a blast, man. So having a great time doing it.
Well, and you guys are doing some amazing stuff over there. The interviews you're getting, the Dan Fouts interview, I was just like, Dan Fouts. Oh my God. They got Dan Fouts. It's amazing. So what was it like talking with Dan?
Man, dude, seeing Dan Fouts, it just his living room with all of his pictures behind him. He's got his wife behind the camera, just like carrying on just the conversation with it back and forth while we're asking him questions. And the best part about it is just that Dan was exactly the type of personality you would figure he was, just as far as being very personable, just having just a conversation. It really didn't feel like asking someone questions and going back and forth. You just really felt like you were a part of the conversation with Dan, and talking about the Chargers, especially Justin Herbert, because he has more of an off-field history with Justin, was amazing. And the best part was Dan Wolkenstein was still kind of a little bit, he had to be like the fan for 10 seconds and say, I still can't believe we're interviewing you right now, Dan. and of course, Fouts just shakes it off. It just is, you know what, Dan, you'll get over it.
I love it. Just neutralized it. But I'm so glad he said that, because that's how all of us were feeling like watching it. It's like, wow, Dan Fouts, this is rad. This is so cool.
I know. Sometimes you kind of got to keep your little inner child and your inner geek, just held back and just be professional. Cool. Yeah.
You got to play cool sometimes. But that time didn't need to play it cool. That was the perfect way to handle that.
I know.
But it's so great. I love what you guys are doing over there. And if you guys haven't checked them out, please do, because their content's awesome and they really good insight. So I want to pick your brain just real quick on the draft, because we haven't talked since way back in the day. Really awesome draft for us, and the first couple of rounds were absolutely insane, and most of us weren't expecting that to kind of fall the way it did. So what were your kind of overall impressions of the draft when we were done?
Man, so, I first off, it was nice to have, I throw a draft party every year. I think this is the 12th one that we've done over the past 12 years. First off, it was just great having people back into it. It was great getting that atmosphere of the draft back into seeing everybody there was great. And I had said for the longest time, even when we were leading up to the draft, and by this point, we're not thinking that we're going to get Rashawn Slater. We're kind of figuring out, okay, this is where the tea leaves are going to drop. This is who's going where. And I said that it would be an ultimate pipe dream. Everybody was talking about it for about a month out, that if the Chargers were to get Rashawn Slater, then to come back and get Asante Samuel Jr. in the second round, that would just be a home run. And it was more of me trying to be realistic about it, not get my hopes up about it, and just be a little bit more curious to other possibilities. You never want to pigeonhole yourself into, just one person that you really want, because then you're just going to be disappointed after the fact. And around that time when Carolina started making their moves around 8 and seeing how far Penny Sewell dropped to 8. Jamar Chase, big thank you to the Cincinnati Bengals for passing on an offensive tackle there. And then seeing Denver go Patrick Surtain, and then Dallas trading back. And it was just like one thing after another. And I even told Dan, even when it came up to us announcing our pick, and we knew Rashawn Slater was on the board, I still had very little confidence that we were actually going to pick him. I had to wait until the very end for it to happen. And it was the same damn thing with Asante Samuel Jr. the following day. I seriously just thought, look, there's too many teams with cornerback needs between 33 and 47. And as they were going, the first cornerback that was taken off the board, I believe it was Tyson Campbell for the Jaguars in the second round. I thought, oh my God, here we go. Well, that's a great start. It's going to be, here comes the run on corners. Man. Yeah. And then as it got closer, the one team that really needed a corner that passed on him in the first round was Dallas, because they had been linked to Patrick Surtain the entire draft. And they took a corner, but it wasn't Asante Samuel Jr. Yeah. And just like the first round, I'm like, for the love of God, just do the right thing. And I told Dan, I love Hank Bauer, but for the love of God, you gave everyone a heart attack with your little dramatic 10-second pause. And he posed too. He held the card, and then he just kind of like looked out into the left side of the crowd. And then he said Asante Samuel Jr. And then everybody went nuts. I couldn't believe it, dude. I had said it for weeks. It was a pipe dream. Didn't think it was going to happen. I still can't believe it. Both of these guys are on the team.
It was incredible. It was an area of need, and it was best available. That very rarely happens. 2 rounds back to back. And it was amazing for us. Kyle, my brother, and I, we were at a bachelor party. So we were like, waiting for our picks. We were outside doing games and doing all that stuff. We guys, we need a break. We went inside and we're like, oh my God, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We lost our minds. It was amazing. So it was such a perfect draft in that sense. And then later on, we got some more studs that we didn't really all know about, but it kind of like shaped itself up. And now after the fact, looking at everyone, we're kind of really excited about what they did. And hopefully we landed some studs there 3 on. So we'll see about that. But I want to kind of shift over into that. You were talking a little bit about, the hype train and not getting too excited about one person because you don't want to get let down. There is a train running on tracks right now that is so ferociously intense. And that is this Julio Jones talk to the Chargers. What is your take on this? Because I'm seeing people like just getting rid of all, like full on getting rid of our players. Like, take them all. We don't care. We want Julio.
Take my clothes. Yeah, take this, take that.
Yeah, take my mortgage. Take my house. Take my car. Like, whatever you want. Like, just have it. So what is your thought on this? And how do we keep it kind of our head straight in this world of Julio?
The good thing is what you could say about this Chargers team right now without Julio Jones. The Chargers should be a playoff team. They should be. If you add Julio Jones to this team, you can make a really good argument to say that they could actually go on a good playoff run, possibly get to the AFC Championship game if you add a weapon like that in Julio Jones. Now, you heard some reports that are talking about Atlanta seeking a first. Obviously, they would. But realistically, you're going to have to start at a second-round pick. This will be where it's interesting for certain teams on what draft capital to give up. Me personally, I tend to value draft capital a lot, but when you really put it into context, let's just say hypothetically, if you did a second and a fourth And even if you were even able to unload the contract, it would almost be like a contract swap. You're taking on a little bit more, but if you took out Mike Williams and you put him part of that package, sent him to Atlanta, and then you brought on Julio Jones. Because initially I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, you have a crowded wide receiver room right now as it is.
Yeah.
So I would think that would be something that Tom Telesco would try to finagle in there as well. But a 2 and a 4 and Mike Williams, to me, for at least 2 more good years of Julio Jones, to me, that's a win now move. It's a very aggressive move. It's something that you don't normally see from Tom Telesco in that circumstance. The last time that the Chargers traded away a second-round pick for a wide receiver was Chris Chambers way back in the day. Yeah. And by no means is Chris Chambers even in the same stratosphere as the player as Julio Jones is.
Exactly.
But this is going to get interesting. And especially as we get closer to June 1st, that's the date to remember. That's when you can really start to see things heat up a little bit.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. Who knows? And we're definitely in a win now mode. We got the rookie on the rookie contract, and this is the time. This is the time you make those big splash moves, and it doesn't seem like it's that big of a departure from what we're kind of on the path for with the Mike Williams, and we're gonna have to pay him next year. Like this money is gonna have to come out. So do you find a way to give up a little capital and go get Julio Jones? Even saying that is just insane.
Right.
My mind is blown that he could
it shouldn't even be on the table right now. So
no, it's insane. So all right, man. Well, yeah, go ahead and just throw out all your details for the audience, for people that want to come check you guys out. We'd love to promote you guys and make sure you get all the listens.
Yeah, so you can follow us on Chargers Unleashed at LAC_Unleashed. You can, of course, find us on YouTube at Chargers Unleashed. We're available on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, however you end up taking in your podcast. We're also available on Facebook and Instagram as well. So we're all over the place. We're not too difficult to find.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, it was such a pleasure chatting with you again, and we're really pumped for everything you guys are doing over there, and keep it up, my man.
Thank you, man. Hey, appreciate everything that you guys are doing over there as well. Kicking ass. Keep doing it. Very happy to talk to you again, Kevin.
All right, man. We'll do it soon.
Definitely, man.
All right, Jake, let's go, buddy.
I love it. I love when we get some other podcasts on here, man, and just mix it up. I love it. Love chatting with him.
Well, Jake is part of a beloved podcast, so to have him join us and be a part of it is awesome. You know, the more other podcast hosts we can acquire, the stronger we will become.
We're like Thanos with our stones.
Yes, we got to put one. I've got 10 fingers, 10 stones.
Super Bowl.
That's right. Now it's happening. It's going to happen. I'm going to snap my fingers. We're going to be in the Super Bowl. That's awesome. Jake, awesome. Thanks, you for stopping by, buddy.
Thanks, man.
And talking with Hug, and we really appreciate it. All right. Well, now it's time to look over to Fan Focus.
All right, guys, we are here with another Fan Focus, and today we have Jonathan from North Carolina. Thank you so much for coming on, Jonathan.
No problem, man. How's it going?
It's going good, brother. It's going good. So yeah, I'm always excited to talk to fans and meet fellow Charger fans. So let's get right to it. How did you become? You're from North Carolina. How did you become a Charger fan?
Well, I live in North Carolina now, but I'm actually from Georgia, and I started off actually a Patriots fan early on in my life. And I was a big Drew Bledsoe fan. My history with Tom Brady goes back before even being a Charger fan, because he kind of stole my man Drew Bledsoe's job. And so when Drew Bledsoe left the Patriots, I was in middle school. And so I was looking for a new team around that time. And I remembered I had just seen LT and Drew Brees get drafted in 2001. So I was like, I do like those helmets. So that's how I got there. Awesome. I enjoyed it. It always goes back to the uniforms.
It's the style, dude. It's just so good. It's like, if you have to pick something, you might as well pick something you're going to look good in. I love it.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I've been a fan ever since.
Awesome, man. So what's it like being a fan out in North Carolina? You know, there's, as you've heard, listening to the podcast, there are so many fans all over the country. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Do you ever meet up with any Charger fans, or are there any Charger fans in the area? Like, what's it like being a fan down there?
Well, I went to the game a few years ago when they played the Panthers, and I was actually surprised at how many Charger fans were at that game. And we were just kind of like I was walking down the hallway with my brother-in-law, and it was other Charger fans, and we were just nodding each other or saying what's up. I mean, it was cool. It really was. And I was shocked because, you always hear about, the Chargers don't have fans. No, we're just spread out. That's all.
Exactly.
So, and I see some every now and then at my job. I work retail, and I see some come across there. I see a lot of people from San Diego, and they might have used to be Charger fans. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we talk a little bit.
That's awesome. That's my thing, is like going to other people's stadiums, and when I see a fellow Charger fan, I'm like, hugs, high fives, let me buy you a beer. I'm so pumped to see him in another stadium. So it's almost a little more bonding than being at home games, because the home games is like we're all here together. But if you find, like, you look down the hallway and you see one, you're like, all right, you and I, we're sweet.
Right. And it's almost a more personal feeling because, the Chargers don't have history of winning Super Bowls or anything like that. So, I feel like you're more of a loyal fan being able to stick through the hard times the way that we have. And it's a much better feeling. It's not like you're a bandwagon fan or anything like that. Like you're the real deal,
When we get over the hump, it's going to taste that much sweeter for all of us that have hung in there and been a part of this for so long. So it's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about, like, what are the things you're most looking forward to this upcoming season? Because there's a lot of things to look forward to. What are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the defense. I'm really excited to see how that defense looks under Staley now. I knew once they didn't sign Leonard Floyd that Chris Rump was going to be one of the draft picks. I just knew it. Because I had been scouting on my own and comparing, and I was like, he is built just like Leonard Floyd. He might be a little lighter, but they're exactly the same. And I knew he was going to be one of those picks. So I'm really excited to see, those third and long packages, how that pass rush is going to look, if Nwosu and Rump and Bosa are all going to be on the field at once. I mean, that just gets me excited, and where people are going to line up. I think we could probably see Kaiser line up as the big nickel, and just see guys moving all over the place from play to play. And I miss that kind of defense where you're confusing the offenses from play to play. I'm sure you remember how Wade Phillips' defense used to be with us. And it used to give Peyton Manning fits because he didn't know what was coming, who was coming. And I'm excited to possibly be going back to something like that.
Yeah, it's exciting, especially with the Gus Bradley defense we've had for so long. It's like it's a very cookie cutter, not a lot of changes. Even players have come out and said that it's not the most innovative at halftime. They're not really going in there changing a lot. So I'm fully on board with that. Can't wait to see what this defense does, and can't wait to see the offense. It's just so exciting to be a Charger fan. So
right.
Yeah. So final thoughts. Are you going to try and go to any games this year? What's your outlook?
I think I'm a little too far away to go to some games, but I will tell you another person that I'm excited to see is Roundtree.
I'm with you, dude. I live in Columbia, Missouri, right in Mizzou. I've seen him play a few times. I love that kid. I think he's going to be a stud.
He was one of the two, because I was thinking, okay, we need another big bat, because a lot of people were thinking that Kelly is in trouble, but I'm thinking, Justin Jackson's going into his final year. He's always injured. It wouldn't hurt to have a big bat that we could put in goal line situations. And my first pick was Ramondre Stevenson from Oklahoma, but he had some trouble in Oklahoma. He was suspended for a while. So I knew that took him off TT's list right there.
Yeah.
And then Roundtree was my second choice. He kind of reminds me of Priest Holmes. And when you see him hit that hole, sometimes he puts his hand on the back of the lineman. Yeah. Kind of like Priest used to do it. It just gets me all excited seeing that all over again. Because even though I'm a Charger fan, I did love Priest Holmes. So,
that's
awesome.
Jonathan, thank you so much, man. We appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
Hopefully we can let's keep interacting. We love chatting with you on Twitter, so let's keep it rolling.
I got you.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you later.
Jonathan, man. Dude, you had the biggest smile, dude. I'm just sitting here watching it, just like big grin on my face, man. It's infectious as shit, man. That was awesome. It is. It's infectious as shit. I'm gonna be grinning the rest of this episode.
Can you say that in your like the country?
It's gonna be infectious as shit.
Yeah, dude. It was awesome talking to him. Like he's definitely one of those shamelessly positive fans, and he knows his stuff. Like we talked even more afterwards about guys he liked and who he was looking forward to. So we might have to bring him on a future draft episode because he did his homework.
Yeah, I like that he called the Rumpf pick. That was pretty sweet. And
that was awesome.
And interesting to compare him to Leonard Floyd, which was another player that we were all kind of hoping to pick up. But if we can get a Leonard Floyd type on a rookie contract for 3 to 4 years, that's pretty damn sweet. Yeah, I'm all for it. So awesome. Thank you, Jonathan, for stopping by,
buddy.
Talking with my man Huggin.
Thank you.
And now we go on over to the one, the only, the Greg Experience.
Oh, yeah.
Come on in, man. Kick your feet up.
Oh,
Greg Experience.
hello there.
Make yourself at home. We got some stuff to talk about, right? Moving on. Football never lets me down. You get in these slothing periods where you feel like there's absolutely nothing to talk about, and bam, stuff like the Julio Jones news comes down the pipe, and then you get all super excited again. Gotta love football, right? Anywho, it's your guy Craig in Texas, still coming to you from Texas, just in the woods, in a cabin. Well, not currently. I'm sitting in my car because I need some peace and quiet. My kids won't allow for that inside. So coming to you anyway because I love you guys, and I'm not going to miss an opportunity to chat it up with you. With that said, welcome to another edition of the Craig Experience. I guess we can call this the Friday the 13th edition because this place could probably double for Camp Crystal Lake in the next film. But anyway, never mind me. Like I was saying, Julio Jones. I would advise everyone to temper their expectations. I've said it over and over again. We know this isn't a typical Chargers move. It would be amazing to see number 11 in lightning bolts and powder blue, catching deep balls from Jay Herbo, opening things up for Keenan Allen underneath, and just kind of doing this thing all over the field on the outside, wherever you can get him the ball. And that offense is a dream. We're talking about explosion all over the place. And who's going to stop it? It could compete with the Chiefs or any of the other high-flying offenses in the league. Doesn't matter the division. So, I mean, the question becomes, is he actually an option? I believe that, yeah, he could and should be. There's no reason why you wouldn't go after a guy. Yeah, he may be 32, and we look at athletes in that age range on the back end of their career, but Julio Jones hasn't tapered off a bunch. I mean, he has some, nicks and bruises last year that slowed him down just a little bit, but he's still an elite level talent, and he automatically becomes the best athlete probably on the Chargers roster as far as the wide receiver core is concerned from day one. And I mean, I know we're thinking, well, how do you make that work? What does it mean for Mike Williams? Yeah, interesting questions. But I think that's one of those things that, Telesco would kind of have to figure out on the back end, of course, before making the move. But it should not deter him from doing so. Mike Williams is on the last year. They picked up his 5th-year option. We know how much he costs. If you can unload him to the Falcons, they could possibly extend him and restructure his contract, I believe, because they're looking to get off of, some cap and open up some room and possibly add some new bodies just at lower contracts because they're looking to rebuild. So I think they could make it work. Or in the event that the Chargers have to hold on to Mike Williams and give up some draft capital, I don't see that being any more than maybe a 2nd rounder next year, possibly a 3rd, maybe even a 4th. I think it's well worth it. You may even be able to get off of him for less than that, probably at least a 2nd and another draft pick. But I would even be interested in possibly tossing Joshua Kelly out there because I know the Falcons need another running back, and that makes the Larry Roundtree pick make even more sense. Roundtree, I don't know how much you guys have checked him out, but the dude was a legit SEC running back. And we're talking about someone who has a running style to me that's very similar to Mark Ingram, as I've mentioned before. And we all know who the new offensive coordinator is. So it kind of starts to make more sense. The picture becomes a little bit more clear. What are we talking about as far as pros and cons? I don't see very many cons. I mean, actually, when we're talking about a Julio Jones, I just explained what he does in the offense and what he opens up for everyone else. I think Austin Eckler with Larry Roundtree and Justin Jackson becomes an even bigger threat. He probably has his best year out of the backfield as a dual threat. He doesn't have to carry the majority of the load. You've got the other two guys there move around and kind of throw them in the mix, and especially Larry Roundtree being more of your short yardage back and the guy that you just kind of want to get downhill and move in piles. So I believe that it makes perfect sense. As far as the cons are concerned, again, I don't see very many. I mean, again, you can argue the age, but I haven't seen much drop off from Julio. And in the event that, he is down a couple games due to a nagging injury here or there, he's not 100%. Look at all the other weapons you have. It's not going to be like years past where, Keenan goes down and you're dependent on Mike Williams, who's also banged up, but pushing through it. And then the production in the passing game drops off a little bit. I'm all for it. Yeah. So I'm asking you guys, tell me if you think there are any pros and cons or what the pros and cons are to a decision like that. And in addition, would you rather have a Julio Jones now or wait for a potential opportunity, which would be essentially a shot in the dark at Devontae Adams next offseason and not really knowing what's going on in Green Bay and what his decision would be? Still don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers and whether or not he's going to stick around, which I think completely determines whether or not Devontae Adams decides to play any more football in Wisconsin or if he, hightails it up out of there. So again, as always, Bold Ganger Don't Bang. You already know what it is. And pray for me while I'm out here at Camp Crystal Lake and that no guys in hockey masks or dudes in fisherman suits with hooks decide they want to hang out around my cabin. I'll be fine. Not worried at all. Okay. Love you. Bye-bye.
Don't Craig. Don't kill Craig. Keep him safe. I'm not worried, dude. I'm worried about whoever's coming after Craig. I'm not worried about anybody getting any mass or fish hooks.
You're not locked in here with me. I'm locked in here with you.
Exactly.
You got to look out for Craig there, Jason.
I appreciate the commitment to continue being on our podcast, and he's doing it in his car.
Dude. Thank you.
You can see his kids his car seat in the back. Dude, I love you, Craig. You're the man.
You are the man,
awesome.
Dude. Well, thank you for staying with us, Craig, and giving us another Craig experience here on Charger Chat.
Yeah.
So just watch your back.
To answer the first question, what are the pros and cons of bringing Julio Jones to the Chargers? I don't know. I guess what is a con of bringing one of the best receivers of all time to your team? You pay, obviously how much you have to pay him and how much you have to give up. Those are the only cons that I can think of. But I think everyone the Falcons have been asking for a first round pick since before the draft, and no one's given it yet. Clearly, no one's even thrown that out there because Julio doesn't have a no trade clause. So anyone that the Falcons want to deal him to, they can deal him. So no one's even come with that offer. So I don't think it's going to be that high. So the pro is our offense is insane. Listen to this offseason that Ninja Tommy T put together. And Kevin, I'm sorry, it's hypothetical. I know he's not on the team. It's a hypothetical. We completely rebuild our whole offensive line. You get Rashawn Slater in the first round, not having to move your pick. You get Asante Samuel Jr. in the second. You pick up Julio Jones, and you extend Derwin James all in one offseason. W. There's no con there. It doesn't we are in win now. We with Justin's rookie contract, you're in win now. This is the stuff that you have to do. Yeah. And the other thing with Julio's contract is, he's $13.5 million this year, but then the last 2 years of his deal, it drops down to 11.5. So you're going to be paying him what you're paying Mike Williams, right, to be Julio Jones when Mike Williams leaves. So it's I don't know. We would have him
the duration of his rookie contract too. I love the symmetry of that. The perfect amount of rookie contract is the perfect amount of time with Julio Jones. Yeah,
right. I don't know the con. It just will it happen? I pray it does.
Here's the thing.
Should happen.
Here's the thing. It is not this doesn't feel full ninja. This isn't what no one was expecting, that the stuff that Telesco does. This is so like the obvious thing. I'm worried that it's too obvious to be on Tommy T's radar.
But now everyone thinks he's a ninja and he's going to come and just like punch you in the face picking up Julio Jones.
Yeah, like
That's
Swayze
the
and
ninja
Roadhouse.
thing to do. How
Just-
much more ninja is it to now he's tricked us all into thinking there's no way he would do it?
That's the
And then
ultimate ninja, to make you
smoke
think
bomb.
he's
Yeah.
a ninja, then he's really flips it on you and he's not a ninja.
Then he pulls out a gun and shoots you.
brought a knife to a gunfight. Pow, pow. Pew, pew.
Yeah, I think initially like my gut reaction was like, okay, well, if we're getting Julio, then we must be offloading Mike Williams somewhere. But as you mentioned, Atlanta's got no cap space to spend on Mike Williams' contract. So if we pick up Julio, then that means that this is like the 1 year that we've got both Mike Williams and Julio Jones and
Dude,
Keenan Allen.
Like
together.
the amount of money you're spending on your 3 wide receivers, you're spending like $45 million on your wide receiving core.
It's a lot
That
of
is
money.
So much money.
crazy.
But if you could have that for 1 year with
Yeah, that's
Justin
dope.
Herbert
That's
in
so
this like win
sweet.
now scenario, like
Yeah.
why not? Like,
Oh
why
my God.
wouldn't you? And
It's what-
because I mean, that I think just says that Mike Williams will not be here next year. But we've got Julio Jones to fill in that spot. So I was apprehensive at first. I think I've seen more of the light in regards to getting Julio Jones, and being the amount of cap space that we have, knowing who's running, the coaching and what he brings to the table and how unstoppable this offense could potentially be. It's really exciting. So
it is just so baffling that this could happen.
Yeah.
Like what we were last year, what we could be this year, it is a full 180. Just
right.
It's this little solar system that's just rotating around Herbert. It's just like we're just moving all these planets around, and it's just like landing perfectly for Herbert.
With only having to give up picks.
We haven't given up anything yet, too.
I
Yeah,
know.
so give up
so
two.
Giving up a future second, because we heard that they were asking for first rounders. Nobody was biting. So now potentially just asking for a second and maybe another pick further
Ham
down.
sandwich or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
And knowing how, and I'm pretty sure I heard this, that the Chargers have a lot of compensatory picks coming up in the next draft.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
of all the
that's
moving
true.
and shaking that's happened. Why not? Like if that's what you have a surplus of, which is picks, use them, dude. Get that Pro Bowl wide receiver.
It all comes back to what is this team all about right now? Are we win now? If we are fully win now, this is your all-in moment to go all in on win now.
Right.
Yeah. And his part B question was, do you do this or do you wait a year and see the free agents that pop up, the Devontae Adams potential? And I think with the way that Julio's contract is structured, this is like the ultimate ninja move.
Yeah.
Because Amari Cooper is getting 20. Pew, pew. Okay, let me finish my point.
Sorry, we're fighting over
We're
this.
really into sound effects for a second. My apologies.
Amari Cooper is making $20 million a year now. Devontae
God.
Adams is way better than Amari Cooper.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's going to be the highest paid. So he's going to get more than $20 million a year
Right.
wherever he goes next. So we're going to have Julio we could have Julio for $11 million a year, or you wait and pay Devontae $21, $22 million
I don't
a
think
year.
you
Like
do that.
that's just never going to happen with what we already paid
No.
Keenan. You
Even if
can't
you
afford
lose
that.
Mike
So
Williams, there's no
Right.
way that's still
Right,
going
right.
to be
So-
too much money.
the Julio thing, I don't know. The more that people have talked about it, the more details that pop up. It just makes a lot of sense.
It seems right.
It's not the typical Charger move to go get a name like that, but it does. It feels right.
It
Be a lot
feels
cooler
right.
if you
Be
did.
a lot cooler
Yeah.
if you did. All right.
All right.
So yeah, it's a new coaching staff. There's new schemes, new players. If there was ever a time for the Chargers to do something uncharacteristic of previous Charger teams, this is it. So wait and see, find out, keep refreshing your Twitter, see what happens with Julio, and just cross your fingers, folks, because that would be pretty special. All right. Well, now it's time to look on over to Ask Boltfam. A lot of you guys out there today. We started off with Clownin' D. who asked the question. What kind of major endorsement will Herbert land in the near future? My name is Matt Foley, and I am a motivational speaker.
Whoa, that was good.
That was a request in YouTube. I don't remember who requested that. I'm sorry, but if you requested Matt Foley, there you go. That was it right there.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. Herbert's been dropping some sick commercials.
I have it.
Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.
No, that's ours. He can't have that.
You can't have that.
You can't have that. That's
Get your
ours.
own.
Yeah. I'm gonna say next year he will be the main sponsor for Disney World, because after you win the Super Bowl, they ask you where you're
that's
going.
True.
He's like,
Okay.
Disney World.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the other possibilities of like NFL players that are still doing like sponsorship deals that, maybe you're not the fresh face that we want anymore. Like, what's Peyton Manning? Is he Nationwide? Is that his? Is that his brand?
Hey, you will never take a Peyton Manning sponsorship. There's no way. He's too funny. But I think Patrick Mahomes' goofy butt's about to get booted on the State Farm. Slide Herbert in there.
Not even State Farm. Head and Shoulders. With Justin Herbert with his flow
coming back.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Shut your mouth. I would rather see Justin Herbert
and
flopping his hair from side to side than Patrick Mahomes curly.
In a weird way, I could see like State Farm doing the thing where they bring him and Herbert together.
Oh, yeah.
And make it like a rivalry commercial.
Instead of Rodgers and Mahomes, it's now
because
Herbert.
Rodgers doesn't have a team anymore.
Right, he doesn't have a
home.
Yeah.
It's hard to advertise when you don't have a team, but
yeah, home insurance isn't good when you're not living anywhere.
When you don't have a home.
Yeah.
Oh, you killed him, Kyle. You got him. You hit him right in the funny
don't
bone.
have a home. Oh man, that got me. All right, yeah. Yeah, anybody that hasn't seen Justin Herbert's Kendall commercials, do yourself a favor, because God, they're so good. He's so charismatic in all of them. It's just so perfect. We'll see where he lands in the future. But thank you for asking, Clown and D. We move on to X Carnage X, who asked the question. With all the Julio Jones talk going on and the Bolts being listed as a top destination, how excited are you guys for the premier top weapon when healthy? K-Love you, bye. Also, fuck the donkeys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was my best Gru. That probably was
my
terrible.
kids love that movie.
Wow.
So good work.
They won't love that impression.
And then I'll turn it off right before you say "fuck the donkey."
All right. So more Julio talk, as we know there's going to be a lot of you guys.
Yeah, and I think that we have good receivers. That's the thing. It's not like we have like a need that we need to fill. I think it elevates everything else. Keenan's like effectiveness gets elevated, and Keenan is a premier wide receiver. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but he is premier. And putting Julio out there,
who do you cover?
You can't double anyone. You can't concentrate on one and take it away. So I think what it does to all the rest of the receiving core is what would be so exciting and fun to watch. And it honestly would put a lot on Lombardi's plate to be able to effectively and correctly
keep everyone happy,
take advantage, and just to take advantage of it all.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have one guy, okay, just throw to that guy every play. But when you have three studs, it's not like that. You can't just say
the game plan is more complicated.
Get him his ball. No, and Justin too. You got, and he does a great job of that. Anyways, he made the undrafted guys look good, but he finds the guy that's open. But it will be fun to see what the rest of the receiving core benefits from it.
Fingers crossed. But thank you for checking back in, Carnage. Appreciate it. Next, we move on to Z the King 1, and shout out to Mike Nava, because you guys pretty much asked the same question. But I'm going to go with Z the King 1 because he had a request for a voice. So there. Love you, Mike.
We see how you get on this show.
All right, here is the question. It goes something like this. How much is too much to trade for Julio Jones? In other words, What would you be willing to offer the Falcons for him? Donkey, head, me.
Head, paper, no.
Julio,
Orange on a
cheers,
toothpick.
Yeah, I mean, as far as honestly, I think it's more of a question about what is Atlanta willing to take for the trade, because as we mentioned, it's only picks that they could really take at this point.
What would you be upset with if you saw that we gave that away? What's like the minimum, like the maximum that you'd be like, okay, that was a good call? I honestly, if it was a first round pick and that was it for Julio, I would not be like, oh man, we got boned on.
Yeah,
that. I would be like, that's a fair. In my opinion, that's a fair trade. If it becomes a second and a fourth, I'm like,
take it.
We won that trade.
Totally.
You know, like in my opinion, if I saw the first round pick for Julio Jones, I'd be like, sweet.
I just would really like it to see 2023 and not, like a couple years. Like you can have our first round in like 2 years after we're done building our roster to what we want.
Acquiring 2 Lombardi trophies.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, it's too exciting to really put it into perspective. I think we're in a arms race with other teams that want him.
Right.
I think there's definitely people going for him.
Hopefully our first round pick is never top 20.
Exactly.
Hopefully we're giving up a 32nd pick every year.
There you go.
They're like, have fun with our second round pick.
Enjoy that.
Yeah.
Falcons.
Yeah. I think if it's just the first round pick, fine. If it's a second and extra, fine. If it's anything more than that, like if it's a first and I would be minorly upset. Or if it's a second, a fourth, and I would be a little bit upset.
And
especially now that we know the
exactly what the market is for him.
And I'm kind of attached to our players on this roster, so like getting rid of anyone would be kind of a bummer. Like the idea, like Craig said, getting rid of Kelly would be like, I kind of want to see what his potential is.
They leave you, Kevin. They leave you, and they don't think twice. Unfortunately,
Denzel's not thinking about you.
Denzel Perriman's not considering you at Panthers OTAs today.
Yeah, he actually responded to me on Instagram.
I did see that. That was pretty
it's
damn
true.
cool.
So f off.
But
yeah.
But I mean, honestly, if the Falcons can't play the players that they have right now, I don't know that they're going to want to acquire
they don't have
any
much
more
of a choice.
players, right?
No.
Yeah. So I think it's just picks at this point. And how many picks are you willing to give up?
Badgley and one of our other kickers.
You can have him.
Take the money and run.
Him.
Am I right?
They've got Young Wei Koo, our other kicker, who already
great
kicks ass
from us. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Z the King One and Mike Nava. Mike, I love you. I love you, buddy. Keep coming back. We move on to Okie Doggy, who asked the question.
All right. With all the trade speculations involving Julio Jones, let me bring this scenario to you guys. Would you rather the team trade for Julio Jones, but in doing so, there's a chance Mike Williams may want to trade away from the team if this happened? Or would you rather us stick to our guns, giggity, see what happens this season and try to get Keenan's best friend Devontae Adams in free agency, who made comments about his future in light of the drama happening in Green Bay? But there is no guarantee he signs with us, and there is a chance he may want to play with his former college teammate Derek Carr in Vegas. Giggity. I don't really have a preference as long as the trade is deemed fair for us if we go for Julio. While I would love to see Devontae play with us and have a deadly combination of route runners on the team, the same could be said about Julio Jones, who has been a phenomenal receiver who has been hampered by injuries before, but could be lethal in the offense that has a lot of names on offense. All right.
That was terrible, but all right. So Julio or Devontae?
You miss every shot you don't take.
That's right. You got to just swing for the fences every time. It might be a pop-up. It might be a ground double. You never know.
Yep.
All right.
Fielder's choice.
Julio, basically the question of either Julio or Devontae Adams. And you kind of talked about it earlier. Devontae potentially having the bigger price tag attached to him.
Oh yeah, and this is more of like this is a trade scenario, not a free agency scenario. Like he doesn't have control over what he's doing, and Devontae will. So this seems more of a potentially a thing than Devontae Adams. So I'm living in the now, man, and the now tells me like Julio Jones.
Julio Jones, man.
Jones, bro.
Yeah, I think Julio, while older, and I mean, is proven. And
dude, 32 is not that old.
No. But I mean,
all right,
just
Grandpa.
36.
Kevin just still has hopes of rejuvenating his NFL career.
going back out there.
Never.
Like, I still
Maybe
got it.
Water boy. Yeah, that's about it.
But all right. So there you go. I think we'll be more comfortable with Julio, but thank you for asking the question, Okie Doggy. Always good to hear from you.
Yeah, buddy. Thank
we
you.
move on to Gnarly Ray Jepson, who asks the question. Sup, boys? I'm also from Western Kentucky. Thought about flying into the home opener against Dallas. How nuts do you think that game is going to be when Herbo throws a TD pass to Julio Jones?
It's going to be his first TD pass is going to be insane either way because I'm going to lose my vocal cords will explode.
It's just going to shoot out of your
It's
mouth.
just like blah. And then I'll have to retire from the podcast because I will no longer be able to speak.
Yeah.
But first of all, you should absolutely come to the Dallas game because anyone's going to be at the Dallas game. Am I right? But yeah, you should come. And then first touchdown by Herbo is going to be bananas. Explosive.
It'll be electric.
Electric.
It'll be the
boogie,
best.
boogie.
All right. There you go. Thank you, Gnarly Ray. We move on to JDM 2118, who asks the question.
Hey, what's up, motherfuckers? Just a quick question. What do you guys think about the little bitches that stopped being Charger fans after they left San Diego? The team did start in LA after all. I don't live in Cali, bro. If they moved to fucking Decatur, Alabama, I would be a fucking Decatur Charger. Bo gang and don't bang, and fuck you if you left the Chargers after the move. Gracias. Okay, I love you, bye. Motherfuckers.
All right.
All right.
Got a little,
So
little dramatic.
remember earlier when we said that you got to get that 4.0 because you don't want to start any brush fires? Somebody's got some sparks because this question could light some shit on fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a loaded one, my man.
It's hard. It's just a hard one being that obviously we're all from San Diego. I live in San Diego. I have a lot of friends that were Charger fans that are no longer Charger fans.
Same.
And when I talk to them, I'm like, yeah, dude, I hear you. I know what you're saying. I was hurt when they left too, but it comes down to, are you a San Diego fan?
Just kidding.
Or are you a Charger fan? Right. Yeah. And I think the people that decided not to be, Los Angeles Charger fans, they're more a fan of San Diego than they are of the Chargers, which is totally fine.
Yeah, you're allowed to do
absolutely.
that.
And I love San Diego. I've lived here my entire life, and I probably will always live here. And I love the city, but I love the Chargers still, even though they're in Los Angeles. The fact that they're from LA, that I don't think that really plays a part in softening the blow of them leaving San Diego. They were here a long time. People paid a lot of money to be season ticket holders in San Diego. They supported the team. And it wasn't always great product that was out on the field, to be honest.
Unfortunately.
And the city did show up. So a lot of people are still hurt by it. And I'm not going to say that they're wrong for not being a fan. All I can say is that I'm a bigger Charger fan than I was just of San Diego, the city. So, and what's your other option? I had a buddy that became a Browns fan. Come on, guy. So it's hard, man. I don't know. I plead the fifth, I guess. It's just,
we feel you. We respect you. We understand your pain, but all three of us, we got over it, and we love this team. We love what it's become. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Do you.
It was easier for me because I'm stopped being friends with everyone that wasn't a Charger fan. It was just easier for me.
Wow.
I'm just
all right. Hug and just cut them loose. Just, you done, son.
That umbilical, just gotta cut it and let it go. Grow up. Do your thing.
Grow up.
Go be a big man in the big world. You're good.
Spread your wings and fly. All right.
Fly away.
So there you go, JDM 2118. Thank you for asking the question. We move on to C. Densley 11, who asks the question. Rank the Chargers position groups based on your confidence level from highest to lowest. Up to you if you want to consider depth at each spot or just go by starters.
All right, let's go offense. Offense based on starter, just to keep it easy.
Sure.
Start at quarterback. What's your confidence level 1 to 10 in Justin Herbert?
10.
Behind him, I don't know. I got about a 5 or a 6 behind him.
All right. Offensive line. Confidence in the offensive line group. 1 to 10.
8.
I'm going 8. I'm going 7.5.
Yeah.
And depth?
Not 8. I'll change it to 8. I don't really know. The depth is still
Pipkins,
the depth is not the most fascinating thing to look at, really.
Not that exciting, yeah.
No.
But that's why it's depth.
It's serviceable, but not equal to the starter by any stretch.
Right. Okay.
No.
Wide receivers, 1 to 10. With what we have now, obviously not considering.
If you had a Julio, I put it at 10.
Oh, now you're going hypothetical.
It only works when he wants it to.
Just to piss you off, little boy.
I would say a 7. I'm feeling
7?
pretty even without
I feel
Julio.
higher than that on our wide receiving core.
Yeah?
We still have some
that's what
names
we
aren't that big, but they went off last year, and now he's going to have even more time. So I'm pumped on where we're at. If we add Julio, even cooler.
If we had Julio, would you say 10 and then?
Yeah, hell yeah, 10. 10. Yeah, we're the best wide receiving
core. If you
core.
add Julio to what we have the best receiving core in the NFL.
In the NFL, hands down.
Yeah. Okay, running backs. 1 to 10.
I'd say 8 or 9.
Eck, Kelly, Roundtree,
I think
Jackson.
Eck is the only one you can really lean on right now. No one else has really proven their ability to be a mainstay. Without Eck, that's a dangerous.
Do you include Neighbors in that position group?
Yeah, he's a fullback. You got him, but
I wouldn't really, just because he's not going to carry the ball like those other 3 guys would.
Okay.
It's just not the same kind of position. So I think, now talking about it, I think running back is the one you got to worry about a little bit, just because there's so much unproven, can you stay healthy? Can you not fumble the ball? Can
what is
you be
it?
a
1 to
Mizzou
10?
player and be good in the NFL? Who knows,
So would you go 6?
So you're like a 6?
I go 6, yeah.
Okay.
And finally, tight end.
I like Cook and I like Parham. So I'm and Trey McKitty, we'll see where he's at, but I like those 2 guys.
But still a bit of unproven with this
I'd say it's
team.
7.
Still, yeah.
7. We'll go 7.
Okay. So overall, you're like a C. That doesn't sound shamelessly positive to me.
Well, you tricked me. Damn you.
I don't think you're taking it to letter grade, which F would be 60%, which I don't think is fair for some of these 6 grades. I think 6 doesn't necessarily mean fail.
Yeah.
I think 1 to 2. Well, maybe for
6,
you.
If you're giving something a 6 out of 10, you're not very confident in it.
Well, that doesn't mean that you're shamelessly
I
positive
have
about it.
My starters, I'm feeling like 10s and 9s across the board. I'm talking about depth. The reason why that position group drops a little bit, because that's still so unproven and we don't really know what's going on.
Right.
Okay, I hear you. Okay, starters, you're at an A. You're 9 or 10.
I'm A+. A+,
Okay.
plus extra credit, 4.5 GPA.
Yeah, I called him out for not being shamelessly positive, so this is what happens.
That's right.
Turns into a monster.
You got to turn it into
totally redeem yourself.
You totally went shamelessly positive monster on us.
Shamelessly positive monster.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, there you go, C. Densley. Thank you for asking the question. We move on now to Daniel Wallen, who asked the question.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, crikey. Good day, Captain Positivity. This Chargers fan would like to get your forthright opinion about one positive player trend for the coming season. More specifically, I'm curious about a non-rookie third stringer you expect to be a starter by game 17. Also, fuck the Chiefs. I'm going to go stick my thumb in their butthole. Okay, love you, boy.
All right.
Oh, my God.
One positive player trend for the coming season.
I think you're looking at these pass rushers, man. You're looking at the Fackrell. You're looking at some of these guys that we brought in that, we don't know what Staley's system is yet. We don't know how he's going to utilize some of these guys that are, not huge signings, but have had good track records. So I think a Fackrell is kind of, who knows what's going to happen with Nwosu? Who knows what's going to happen there? So I'm kind of maybe Fackrell for me. The big wild card is the defense,
right?
And how he's gonna blitz, because we're not used to blitzing defense. So we'll see how these guys can get to the quarterback.
I think for me, he's not a third stringer, but Michael Badgley. I think he's posed for more of a breakout than what he's done. In the seasons past, the fact that we kept him, gave him another year on his contract, they got some faith in the guy. So that's like where my hope is. But I don't know. I feel like we've written off Justin Jackson as a whole. Like he hasn't played much. He's been so banged up, and I think you would consider him the number 3 guy right now. I think there's potential for him to still be a good NFL player. I don't think he's not going to be the number 1 guy, but I think he could break out to have a good little season. Whenever I think of him, I think of that Steelers game where he just tore it up and we beat them in that primetime game. He has the ability, so hopefully he gets some opportunity.
We'll see what shakes out in this offseason, who ends up making the cut. There's a lot of competition going into these OTAs and mini camps and all of that. We'll see who comes out on the other side. But great question, Daniel. Thanks for showing up. We move on to Bobby, aka Bozzy H, who asks the question.
There are a few Chargers players who feel like they are on the cusp of either breaking out or being out. Who do you think has the biggest make-or-break season this year for the Bolts? K, love your boy.
Good. It's kind of similar to the last question, but I think Nasir Adderley, he's got to show up and play, or he's on a short leash.
That was my thought too. Yeah.
We didn't really bring in a big name free safety, so they're going to give him the shot. He's going to get an opportunity. He's got to show up, or he's going to be in trouble here pretty quick.
Yeah. Nasir felt like it. I mean, maybe Amike Egbule, maybe Kaiser White. I mean, those are all guys that have been around, and whether or not they've actually
dabbled.
They've dabbled, yeah. Whether or not that's been a choice of the coaches or their playmaking ability
or the scheme.
It's hard to say what's caused them to just be dabblers and not full-fledged, I'm in every play. But no, I think those are the names you got to keep an eye on as far as what ends up going on with them. But thank you, Bobby, for showing up again. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
We move on to Dank Photo, who asks the question.
This is new for sure.
Yeah, I don't recall a Dank Photo in the past. So welcome,
this is dope.
Dank Photo, for showing up to
Thanks,
the Charger
brother.
Chat. We got your question. It goes something like this.
What's up, peeps? With a defense-minded head coach and a new playbook to learn, do you think Herbie will take a sophomore slump? Or do you see the improvement to the line helping keep his production high? I know Herbie had some changes to coaching staff while at Oregon, and him being a 4.0 grad, I think he might have a better year than last. What people also don't take into account is the lack on tape on the new system, especially one with a stud at QB. Anthony Lynn had to keep the run established kind of mentality, even if it was straight not working. Hopefully, Joe lets the kid's arm loose this season.
Dude, your German is so good. As soon as you start, I just like holy shit.
What's up, peeps?
What's up?
Where are my peeps at?
Das ist gut,
Das ist dank, ja?
Das Foto, yeah.
All right, sophomore slump. I keep seeing the talk of Herbie having a sophomore slump, and it just doesn't feel like it, given who he is, what he is accomplished, what he is capable of, the brain that he has. Like, I mean, we're talking about a guy who, after his NFL career, wants to be a doctor of some kind. Like, he gonna get it. All right.
Get it. The one coach came out and said something about it. Was Bruce Arians said that, you know, they shouldn't have changed coordinators and he's gonna have a sophomore slump. Does he know anything about his history? He's had 6 coordinators in 6 years. This isn't a thing. He is a reliable guy. You get him protection, and you're going to see what's going to happen. I am not buying the narrative that it's going to be a sophomore slump because there's a new coordinator. I'm just not buying it. Quit selling it to me. I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying it either.
I think that the idea of a sophomore slump comes from the NFL getting tape on a guy, and you know what to take away.
Right.
You know what he likes to do, and you know how to eliminate it. It's just hard. Like, what do? Do you bring pressure? They brought pressure, and he was one of the best quarterbacks under pressure.
Right.
Do you sit back? Now he's got more time. He has legs to get out of the pocket and make things happen on the run. I think he's a dynamic guy that is it possible that he's not as great as one of the best rookie seasons of all time? Yeah, it's possible, but I don't think there's going to be this dramatic drop off where you consider it a slump.
Yeah.
I think all the things that are new are actually working with him. That like was mentioned in the question, there's a new system. How do you take an off season to look at and take away what he's good at if you don't know what they're really going to be running, like what it's going to look like?
Right.
So I think that's going to help to negate his sophomore slump. So we'll see. We're obviously shamelessly positive, all of us. But I don't know. No one saw it coming on the other ones because any sophomore slump means you had a great rookie season. But it just doesn't feel like that's going to happen. Nothing big drop off significantly like what a quote unquote sophomore slump usually is.
And another thing that Keenan Allen said during his press conference was that Mike Williams told him like Herbert sounds more smooth with his play calls, like just having confidence calling the plays.
Right.
So you're talking about a guy that didn't get a lot of opportunities last year to prepare for the season.
Exactly.
This guy is the number one. He's QB1 for our team. He is going to get all the focus and all of what he needs to be even better next year. Like, I'm not concerned with this narrative.
If he came in week 2 and did not perform the way that he did against what was then the Super Bowl defending champions to take them into overtime, then I would say maybe. But because he had such little time to prepare for that game, and then it was only from that game on that he had a chance to learn and get better. Now having this entire offseason,
and they're designing it around him.
They're designing it around him, and it's an entire offseason, but he's now the leader. Like, you know that this is the guy. He's starting. So he's going to have that chance to work with Lombardi, to work with all the other wide receivers, the linemen, get to work with them. Those are the starters that he's going to get a chance to work with. I don't see a slump happening at all. So stop it.
Stop it. Right now there.
Pro Football Focus, stop trying to double down on your terrible draft prediction.
Sick of it.
God, dude. Just like so annoying.
Get over it. But thank you for asking the question, Dank Photo. I appreciate it. We move.
Thank you, Dank
Photo. We move on to Coach Lago, who asked the question.
By the beard of Zeus, there's word coming out of Twitter to rename our beloved Bolts the SoCal Chargers. Thoughts? You stay classy, Santiago, which in German loosely translates to fuck the Raiders. I'm Ron Burgundy.
This SoCal Charger ship has sailed. That sounds like a Pop Warner
I haven't
team.
even heard of this. What is this?
I haven't heard that, but like, if that's what they were gonna do, that's what they would have had to do year 1 when they moved. They're now the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah,
that's
all of the like the pride hurt is done. It's over with. You're not going to get any San Diego Charger fan that's still a fan is still a fan. You're not going to get them back by calling them the SoCal Chargers.
I don't get what you have to gain by changing it to SoCal Chargers.
You're trying to grab
soften
some of
the blow you got hit in the face with 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's too late. But that's what it needed. If you're going to do it, you do it right away. There's no point in going back now.
I mean, you could say the Washington football team encompasses like an area of land, but the SoCal Chargers, like, there's no team that's like, we're going to take this
like
section of a state.
It's like New England.
Is that
it's the New England Patriots
comparable? Okay,
so it's like that's a region. It's not. They're not the Boston.
Yeah, but
Patriots.
They're not like I don't know where New England falls in Massachusetts, but the Eastern Massachusetts Patriots. Like that just that's weird to choose like a direction and like area of a state.
It's dumb.
I don't like it.
It won't happen. It does sound like a Pop Warner or travel youth football team. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, maybe that's who came up with it. So, but thanks for bringing it to our attention, Coach Lago. I haven't heard about that.
And it's also like conceding LA.
Well,
that's the Rams
they
now.
branded everything with LA Chargers. Like, are you telling me that they're going to just pull all the merchandise and
exactly?
change
That's
it?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they did that, they'd be like, okay, yep, we lost. We're out. Sorry, guys. We win, Rams.
Yeah, no, thank you. But thanks for asking the question there, Coach. We move on to Ryan Toledo, who asked the question.
You guys, I'm going home. Can each of you guys make a prediction on what Herbert's TD yards interception percentage, Keenan's receiving yard touchdowns, as well as Eckler's rush yards, TD's receptions, receiving yards will be for this season? Can't have you back.
That's my pep.
That's my pep.
That's terrible.
That's Cartman from South Park.
Yeah, if you didn't realize, that's Cartman from South Park. All right.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
Why don't we each of us
I was
going to
say, let's each of us.
Here, right in the best back. Sorry.
All right, Kevin, do your Herbert
You
projection.
do your
with the
Herbert,
Cartman
because we
voice.
know you would want to do Herbert.
I'm going to go
Giggity.
we're going to go with 30 TDs. Is that combined passing? Are we just going to go passing here, or is this combined
It's whatever
rushing
your
and passing?
precious heart desires.
I think we're going to go 45 touchdowns between rushing and passing. I
Okay.
think we're going to have 48, 75 yards. Interceptions, we're going to go with a 10. It makes sense.
Wait, what's 48.75 yards?
4,875
Oh, okay.
yards.
Got it.
He went to camp.
4,875.
He went to camp, Adam.
48.75.
Trying.
Put them together, 4,875.
All right, thank you.
48.75.
So that's my Herbo.
Okay.
What you got
All
for
right,
Keenan?
I'll go Keenan.
Go for it.
I think Keenan's going to have another 100 reception year.
Gotta.
But I think he's going to break the 1,000-yard mark. So I'm going to put him at 1050. So 100 receptions, 1,000. I'm going to take the Kevin 1050, 1,050 yards.
1050.
And I'm going to put him at 10 touchdowns. I'm just going big on
10,
Keenan.
10,
We're shamelessly
10.
positive here.
10,
I like it.
10, 10 from 10,
Yeah,
10,
make it
10.
easy.
I like it. For Eckler, I'm going to say rushing yards. I don't think he's going to break 1,000 as much as I'd like to see him do it, because he's been so effective on the receiving side of it. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say 700 rushing yards.
I like it. Bold. Good.
For touchdowns, I'm going to say 11.
Okay.
Goal line guy.
Yeah. Well, because we got Roundtree. I don't know how many times he's going to be on the goal line. Because
And we have Julio Jones in the red zone too.
potentially. So, and then receptions, I'm going to say 50.
Okay.
And I'm going to say receiving yards, I'm going to go 400.
Man, that's Adam's first round pick in fantasy this year.
I have him going higher on all accounts. I think he's going to be one of the best running backs in the entire
I want
fucking
to.
league.
Like, don't get me wrong.
Of course you do.
But it's given what happened. You shut your mouth. Given what happened last season. That injury really scared me. The fact that he came back and played as well as he did is
and we drafted another running back.
And we drafted another running back.
How many reps is he going to get?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
400 running backs on our roster.
What I said a couple weeks ago is that he is in this new system that brought us Alvin Kamara, and he is essentially what Alvin Kamara is out of the backfield. He is a lethal pass catching running back.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is going to go off on receiving yards and touchdowns, and I think he's going to be comparable because he's so slippery and our offensive line is so much stronger than we were. I think it's just going to give
Kevin,
him more opportunities.
You win the award for most shamelessly positive.
The shamelessly positive monster is reared his ugly head again.
They love me. They really love me.
If you ever try to call Kevin negative, he's just going to double down all day.
You tried to trick me with some GPA bullshit. Don't you do that again. Don't you try and give me a C again. Don't do that to me. How dare you?
He would never.
Did.
I got a lot of those in school. I don't need another one from you, okay?
Getting a little PTSD there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Flashbacks.
Thank you, Ryan Toledo, for asking the question. We move on to James. This claim is true. Ebo, who asked the question. With Brandon Staley at the helm, what are your expectations for the defense, and which players do you expect to thrive in the new scheme?
I just want to say I recognize this name from Twitter. He went to like a baseball game, some northern baseball game, I can't remember where, wearing full Charger gear. So I just want to shout you out for doing that because that's awesome.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. So, okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh, all right. Well, the question is expectations for the defense and which players do you expect to thrive in the new scheme? I think if you're a linebacker in that quote unquote edge position, that's, I think, who's going to get utilized more than anybody in that new defensive scheme, right?
If Derwin James stays healthy, dude, holy balls.
He's going to be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to be top 5. Like, that's the expectation. We got to be great. We should be elite.
Our coach was
went away
first defense.
We went away from hiring the offensive
exactly.
coordinator head coach that everyone anticipated to hire the guy that took the Rams to be the best defense in the league. That's the expectation, is that we would be top 5. And yeah, Derwin James, he's going to absolutely kill it if he gets healthy.
Yeah, can't wait to watch him play.
Can't wait. So thank you, James. This claim is true, Ebo, for asking the question. We move on to Shik Soto. I think this might be a new one, who asks the question. Would you rather see our defense shut out Justin Jefferson and have our offensive rookie of the year have his best game of the regular season, or our defense shut out Hunter Henry and Herbo have his best game of the regular season?
It's always beat the Patriots. The answer is always beat the Patriots.
Always.
That's always the answer.
And it's a
nothing
retaliation.
to do with Hunter Henry. Nothing against him. I just want to beat the Patriots. They beat us 45. What was it? 45-0.
Nothing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dear God, like absolutely no. I don't give a crap about Justin Jefferson and the Vikings. Like I want to beat him, but he's the rookie of the year. It's like Justin. It's not. I don't even know why they're complaining about it.
Bitch, and hopefully we gotta
deliver
go get
the
some.
Pats. God, I hate the Patriots. They're down here and they beat us 45.
Yeah,
I know.
Shit.
Well, again, I think I want us to be both. But as far as see our defense shut out, I would rather see them shut out Justin Jefferson personally. So to put that to bed, that's me. You do you, Huggin.
Yeah, you do you.
You do you, Duggan Bros. I'm over here rooting for Herbert to bust out on Justin Jefferson and kick their ass.
But Justin Jefferson's not going to get shut down by Herbert. Herbert can shut down.
Our defense can shut him down. Brandon Staley can shut down Justin Jefferson.
I want Justin Herbert to throw for 500 yards against Bill Belichick.
And that's totally fine, dude.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
That's what I want.
He can still do that.
I want him to somehow win Pepsi Rookie of the Week again against the Patriots.
For no reason.
He's not a rookie anymore.
Who won this week? We got a lot of other votes from this lady named Karen. We're gonna have to give
somebody wrote in Justin Herbert a million times.
There's a write-in vote.
Sophomore Rookie of the Week goes to.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Shik Soto. We move on to Noah Noel, who asks the question.
Oh, Eddie! Many forget Derwin is coming back. Misa think Derwin James is the key to an elite defense. If Mr. James is healthy, how much do you see him elevating this defense? How much of an impact will Derwin have on games and in our defense? Also, the Raiders, f*** them.
Misa, don't want to do that voice anymore.
What are you talking about? That was so funny.
Oh, Jesus.
Good, dude, it's Noah Noel. This sounds new, dude. Well done.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Another coming out of the gate swinging with the script, man. Good work.
Yeah. Oh, boy. All right. Well, Derwin James, we've talked about how much of an impact he's going to have if he can at least stay healthy and elevate this defense. I mean,
he's a full letter grade. He takes.
I was going to say,
B to an A.
How much of that is it just from like ranked, 5 to 4? But I think you're right. I think it's an entire letter grade. Like it moves the needle that much.
He'll make everyone around him better.
Exactly.
Every single person on the defense will be better because of him.
Yeah. It sucks that we're only basing that off of his rookie season, but it's true. It's how good he is. And that's how much and how well respected he is around the league that other people would agree with that sentiment, that's how much he brings to the table. That's how much Staley has faith in him as far as being that impactful on this team. So There you go. Thank you, Noah Noel, and thanks for showing up. We appreciate it. Moving on to Dwayne Ray, who asked the question.
Sup, boys? I'm from West Kentucky, so getting to games isn't easy. When the boys are close, I go. Got front row seats to Cincinnati, and the wife is cool with an LA game. Which game should I hit up in LA? Hashtag we never walk alone.
We never walk alone. We never walk alone. Hey.
Liverpool finished third in the Prim League, so we made Champions League.
Oh yeah, baby!
I don't understand a word you just said. None of that makes any sense.
It was code to You Never Walk Alone, Dad.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
That's for you.
YNWA Dad. We see you, big guy. All right.
Dude, because
there's a lot of good ones. So, like, obviously Cowboys week 1, but that I'm really excited for that Raiders Monday night game.
Big time.
I think that's going to be really, really, or the Sunday night Steelers. God, there's a lot of good ones.
And aren't we? It just racked my brain, Adam. You're talking about doing week 2, week 3, and week 4.
If I can make it happen.
The stars align.
The stars align. That would be my goal, yes, to go to those games. So yeah, any primetime game that you can go to there, Dwayne, make it happen, because it's only going to be awesome. Like it, from all accounts, I can't remember who tweeted it. I want to credit Tyler Schoon, I think is who tweeted it, who basically said like SoFi Stadium at night is amazing, like comparatively to the daytime. Like it's going to be beautiful during the daytime, but to go there at night,
it's like the lighting.
It's going to be completely different.
I will say, like the first game at home is going to be unlike anything that will happen the rest of the year, just because it is the first time they're playing a regular season game in front of fans. So there's something about that Cowboys game, and I want to experience that first game with as many Charger fans as possible.
Same.
I don't want tons of Cowboys in there.
I don't want a Cowboy fan in there. Not
from
one.
a sheer, like, just, I need this. I need you to do this for me. Can you go to the Cowboys game?
Do this. Help me.
Help me.
You.
Come to the Cowboys game. We'll buy you a beer. I'll buy you one beer if you get to the Cowboys game.
There you go. Is that just for Dwayne Ray, or is that for everybody?
Not for everybody. Not for everybody. No. I'm trying to go to
section 3. I'm just kidding.
No. I will say though, Dwayne Ray, you get to that Cowboys game, I'm buying you a beer.
There you
a $15 one. Not a cheapy one. I'll get you a $15 beer.
Wow. All right. Well,
not a $12.
No.
A $15.
We're talking
15.
top shelf.
Premium.
There you go. All right. Well, take that, Dwayne Ray, and I guess anybody else that feels like getting a drink from Huggin.
And don't come up to me and say your name's Dwayne Ray. Don't you come up to me and say you're Dwayne Ray, because I will.
I'm Dwayne Ray.
Don't do it. Yeah. I'm gonna check
Please
IDs.
Do it. Please do it. It's not gonna say do it. Okay, let's go.
You caught it, Kyle. Welcome to the show.
All right.
Golly.
All right. First game is going to be pretty amazing, folks. Be there, be square. All right. Thank you, Dwayne Ray. We move on to Jeeves, who asks the question.
All right. Disclaimer. Earmuffs children. What's up, motherfuckers? I'm sick and tired of these motherfucking Raider fans of this motherfucking Raider team. If that motherfucking Rodgers guy comes to the West, you think we gotta go after Julio? Just to keep up with these motherfuckers? Also, with this Staley defense, will Bosa still be a down 3-point edge or standing? And where will he be lining up? On the strong or weak side? Also, motherfuckers, the motherfucking D is still motherfucking silent. Like that Russian motherfucker said, motherfuckers. Oh, yeah. And like the motherfucking Raiders. Okay, love you, bye. Sam Jack's out, motherfuckers.
Oh my God. I'm like having to go back and read it. I don't even know if I heard the question because I was just laughing the whole time.
Oh my God.
So
about
do we have to go after? Do we got to go after Julio?
The D is silent, motherfuckers.
Jeebs. Why is it there? I don't understand this world anymore.
I probably just woke up my entire house with that one. Good work, Jeebs.
Good work. All right. So do we got to go after Julio if Rodgers comes to the AFC West? I kind of think yes.
I think you go to Julio no matter what if you can.
Yeah, I think if you want to double down right now, you go after Julio now.
Yeah.
Anyways, it'll be even nicer if God, I swear to God, if Aaron Rodgers comes.
I'm so pissed off, dude. I'll be so pissed off.
John Elway just sucks at drafting quarterbacks, but he can just entice these
just
Hall of Famers to come in at the end of their careers. That'll just
so stupid.
All right. So go after Julio regardless. And then Bosa still be on a down 3-point edge or standing. And where will he be lining up? On the strong or weak
he'll
side?
be down in a 3-point stance because that's just where he's most effective.
That's where he's done his work.
Right.
Yeah. If you don't have to drop into coverage, there's not really a point in staying in 2-point because you don't have to get out and get into coverage or run with a guy. And Joey's never going to do that. So he's fast. It's like almost in a track stance. You're down there locked and loaded, ready to go. So he'll be in a 3-point stance. And I don't think he's going to be any one place. I think that's the beauty of what Staley does is we're going to live in the gray. He's going to be everywhere.
Right.
He'll be strong side. He'll be in the edge rusher. He'll be in the 3.
What's tickling you?
I just started thinking about I saw the question out of the corner of my eye. I just can't handle this shit.
God.
Yeah. The bleep tool will be used extensely this episode.
It's
going to be a lot of work.
Kyle, continue. I'm so sorry.
No, I was done. You interrupted right
No,
at the
that
end.
was perfect. All right. Thank you, Jeeves. I will try to remember that your
I'll never forget, Jeeves.
that your
Never
motherfucking D
forget.
is motherfucking silent. All right. Sorry, Mom and Dad, but a lot of F-bombs this week. And lastly, we go out on a family member, my cousin, Mark Woolley.
Oh, shit.
Good old Mark Woolley coming in with a question.
I'm so surprised.
Shit.
This motherfucker
out of here.
Sorry. Yeah.
Who's asked the
Woolley.
question?
Hi-yo, everybody. Patrick Mahomes here. Excluding any Charger NFL moments, what is your favorite sports moment you have witnessed? Also, favorite brand of beer? I'm looking to up my beer game. Keep up the great content. Okay, love you. Bye. Yay.
Get out of here,
Sports
Patrick.
moment.
Yeah, I think this is a good question because I mean we normally
in
talk
person,
Chargers.
right?
Yeah.
In-person sports moment.
The first one that pops to my head is we go to the Mountain West basketball tournament every year to watch San Diego State.
Oh, right.
And I got to watch them win the tournament one year that like granted in the berth into the NCAA, and that was pretty cool. It was pretty fun.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything big like live. That's not Charger related.
It wasn't live, but like I went home to watch. It was the McCoy team. We won the playoff game, but didn't we win a couple playoff? No, it wasn't. Was that?
This cannot. It's excluding Charger NFL moments. Can't talk Chargers. Sorry.
Yeah,
Can't do it.
I can't think of.
Kevin just simply can't do it.
I don't watch any other sports, so I can't chime in here.
I can't think of like live events, but I can recall going to like Padre games, and this was back in the day.
Oh yeah,
and seeing like there was this group of guys, and they called themselves Wally World for Wally Joyner, I think it was, and they all had
Wally
bald
Joyner, first baseman.
caps on. Yeah.
Bald dude.
I loved seeing those guys. Those guys rocked my world.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, the Padres 1998 playoff run. We played the
That was
Braves
awesome.
at home at Qualcomm Stadium, and my dad took us. I was 8
Oh,
years old, and I
damn.
still remember every pitch was just crazy. So yeah, I think that probably.
Who was the
actually, now
pitcher for
I've
that? Do you
had to-
remember?
I don't remember. I don't remember who was the starter. I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So I just remember being like, wow, this environment's crazy
Yeah.
for a baseball game.
Yeah, thinking of like
Yeah,
Wally
it's cool.
Joyner. Every time
Ken Caminiti.
Ken
Tony
Caminiti.
Gwynn, they had a great
Every time,
man.
like hearing the Hell's Bells for
fun.
Trevor Hoffman coming
Trevor,
out,
yeah.
like those were just some
So
of the
good.
awesomest moments.
I think my most memorable. I don't know if this is like. Does that have to be positive?
No.
So the most memorable is when we went to that Monday night.
No, it says favorite.
Favorite. It's my favorite of my most unfortunate
my favorite of my
times.
least favorite moments.
My favorite of my least favorite moments is when we went to the Chiefs game Monday night, right when we drafted Ryan Matthews, and we were.
Is this an NFL moment?
Is it still Charger and NFL
I don't have it, guys. I don't have what it
you
takes.
Don't have it. You got nothing.
I don't have what
you
it
have no
takes.
other memories.
I have nothing. I literally
Mark.
can't think of a goddamn thing.
Kevin's never done anything else.
You've broken my brain, Mark. Thanks. Literally, I knew the rules to the game, and I just kept.
And you're like, all right, I got one. So this NFL game I went to.
Yeah, I couldn't help it.
All right, so this one time in a Charger game.
Why don't you redeem yourself with your favorite brand of beer?
Second one.
I like German beer. I'm going like a Hofbrau.
Really, I would have expected Boddington's from you.
Nah, Boddington's is good, but I'm German. German beers are just it's just nice. I like it.
Fair enough. Do you have a favorite there, Kyle?
I'm so mad I can't figure one of these out.
So yeah, that sucks. Yeah. My day-to-day like light beer is always a Modelo. I'm sure you've had a Modelo, so that's probably not extending your scope of beer drinking. But Elysian Brewing has this IPA called the Space Dust, and it is beautiful.
Yeah.
So if you want to try that one, give it a shot. It's really, really good.
I think for me, my favorite beer, I haven't had it in a while, but I haven't really gone out looking for it. There is a brewery called Belching Beaver, and they have it sounds gross, but it is
the peanut butter stout.
I love the chocolate
really
peanut butter stout.
It's like a dessert.
It is like a dessert. Just like this. It's not overwhelming in any flavor. It's a little heavy, but man, it is delicious.
It's a cool beer. It's very different than what you've had.
Yes,
for sure.
Big time. How about
Kevin,
what about the championship game for Kyle when we dressed in the blue and white
football?
It didn't say
it's not NFL.
It's not NFL.
Read the question, Kevin. Good Lord. Chargers
That's easy.
Or
Thank
NFL?
you. That's easy. That's
Thank
watching
you.
Kyle win a state championship. I'll say something nice about my little brother.
There you go. There you go. Go out shamelessly positive.
Watching him win a state championship was one of the best sporting events I've ever been to.
There you go.
Me too. Yeah,
excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here. Finally, at Charger Chat.
I'm broken.
Yeah.
I'm a broken man.
Kevin broke down. Thanks, cousin Mark, for making that happen. Appreciate it.
You got so excited for your comment.
I had so many good stories, and you guys it's like when you have a great story you want to tell, and it's just like, no, can't do it.
Can't do it.
Be prudent.
Doesn't fit the qualifications, but that's okay. You'll get a better shot next week, and hopefully you all join us next week on Charger Chat. Don't forget, folks, to bolt up because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
Bye.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Herb and the Five Spices, live in Los Angeles. One night only, September 19th at SoFi Stadium. Tickets on sale now. Herb and the Five Spices, with special appearance by Desmond King and the Whiny Magoos in Los Angeles. Get your tickets now. Herb and the Five Spices.